I seriously don't know where to start with this whole LA fires thing. There are so many anomalies that aren't even anomalies anymore. It's just new normalcy. Some people are putting the pieces together and some people aren't. I think it was 2019 or 2020. And I was taking a nap in my house and somebody was pounding on the front door. And it turned out that out of nowhere, and I don't even live in a dry area, the neighbor had moved away and their backyard just ignited right behind my bedroom. The grass, everything just ignited into flames and then caught a shed on fire. That ended up getting pushed away, luckily away from my house, but it melted the other neighbor's aluminum siding. It was just crazy. And after that, this is the point. After that, they came up with this whole conspiracy theory that someone had been living in the shed. Like, we don't even have homeless people around here, not like that. And they came up with this theory that somebody was living in the shed and lit the backyard on fire and ran. And this was the quote unquote authorities that came up with this whole theory. And it was madness. And I told him nobody was living back there, man. I would totally know it. And yeah, we just had this bizarre, freaky fire. Quite a bit of those shenanigans going on back then. But that's what happens. That's what happens when you put, let's say, iron oxide in the air in nano or very small particle format. Let's say you're putting iron oxide or something similar to iron oxide in the air. Then you put aluminum in the air. And this is falling down on everything. Pretty soon, this stuff is going to build up on everything, and it's so small that the trees and the plants and the wood and pretty much anything is going to absorb a lot of this stuff. And when you have those two ingredients, what do you have? You have a dirty version of thermite. It's going to make everything extra combustible, flammable. And there are so many anomalies to this whole thing. Somebody caught this and put it up. I'm going to show you it, but it is very interesting if it's real. I need to find out whether it is real or not, but let me show you this.
Once again, we are looking at Area 51. As these fires are going on in Southern California, they are laying something over Area 51. It's then being shot by the next-rad radar system. You can see that clear as day right here. It is then expanding and being dropped right over Southern California. And then take a look at what happens to Area 51. This is totally insane. This is not normal. And
that's like what I was describing. I mean, that's what chemtrails do every day. They're laying, layer after layer of, biomaterial or metals or whatever. That's why the aluminum levels have gone through the roof. And it's not normal aluminum, it's nano aluminum, it's man-made aluminum. And this is the same thing. It appears that something is being dumped and then it's falling right where it needs to fall. And they've got all that mapped out. They've had that mapped out for years.
This is not birds or bugs. I can promise you that. There is something very odd going on with the military or something that's taking place in Area 51 and then being dropped in the sky, which is then carried over by the jet stream or some sort of wind pattern into Southern California. I talked about this yesterday when we predicted these wildfires based on a northwest anomaly that we saw, again from the next-rad radar system, which then led to insane wildfires in Ventura County. Now we are seeing more and more of this being dumped over Area 51 and then flows into Southern California.
So if that is real radar data, that is very, very interesting. And there is all sorts of weirdness going on. You've got these goutcasters out in droves, blaming this on everything that they can. It is all over X, and it's madness. They're politicizing it. They're blaming it on anyone they can. Here, someone posted a video of a homeless guy starting a fire, and it says,
"The homeless were starting fires in California today, possibly being the cause of the mass wildfires in LA. Another reason why the mentally deranged need to be taken off the streets."
Amazing. This post states that
Democrat incompetence is literally burning California to the ground.
This isn't incompetence. This isn't stupidity. This is all being done intentionally. Just like Maui, just like the rest of them, the fire hydrants don't have water in them, just like Maui. And people are like, it's the Democrats. The Democrats didn't have it. This is all being weaponized. People are jumping ship. They put these people in place. Just like I said in the last video, these are the same people that will feed these people to the wolves to take the blame as they set things up to burn down so they can quote unquote build back better. This is the kind of shit that's going down, and it's been going down. Just like every other one of these modern fires, we have melted cars. Cars melting. The wheels are melting. The engine block. It always goes after the engine block. And if you know anything about vehicles, cars, metallurgy, anything, you know that none of it makes sense. None of it.
On fire just like this and spreading very quickly. You can see those embers coming off the top of that house there. When that happens, the winds just pick those up and send it to somewhere else that isn't on fire, and it just goes over and over.
So he says that it picks these embers up and it threw them at this car, allegedly, because he goes right to the car.
The domino effect, and just look at the power of the heat from these flames.
There is nothing else around that car to burn close enough to melt the steel. Because he is saying right here and showing that the steel of the car is melted. Check this out.
This car, you can see some of the melted metal just right there on the ground from the heat from these flames. And
so there's aluminum melted. It looks like steel is melted now, unless they're using aluminum body parts on these things. Madness. It's absolute madness. And when you talk to these people out there and show them stuff like this, they'll say,
"Well, you just don't understand the intensity of a firestorm."
They'll literally pull that shit on you. Doubtcasters, that's all they do. And it's bullshit because all you have to do is look at the past. You just have to look at the past. And you can see that this didn't happen before. What are the odds? This is the kind of thing that you see in these modern fires here. Like the wheels are actually melted and pouring away. The wheels. So, you know, what these people are saying when they say,
"You just don't understand firestorms,"
is that this always happened. Now, did it always happen? Let's look at another fire that I have investigated very heavily. And I am talking about the Oakland Hills firestorm from 1991. Big fire, just like all these fires, really big. Ripped through and it took a lot of stuff out. 1991. Things are the same. Nothing's changed, right? That's what these people are telling you. So we should see a lot of melted stuff and broken out stuff and cars with their engine bays just burnt out. Because that's what happens in these fires as well. The engine bay just burns to hell to the point where it literally eats the hood. The fire eats the hood. So let's check out this fire from 1991. Well, this truck has burned, but it's really not that burned. The tires are still intact. Here's a car that's on the freeway. The wheels aren't melted. It's a different kind of burn. And you'll see that when you see the rest of these photos. Here's an old car that burned right next to a home, where this melted car was far away from everything. Here's a car that was right next to a home that was on fire. In the front end, right here and here, the paint is still intact. It's burned in the back. The wheels are still intact. Even it has the gold on them. They're trying to sell you non-reality and trying to normalize something that isn't reality. And anybody that goes along with this is a coward, or they are part of the problem. Here's another one. If you look at it, the wheels are intact. The hood is intact. You can see the hood. It is totally different. Let's go to another one. 1991. This car is burned out. Same kind of thing. The wheels are intact. Not at all like these modern fires. At all. Here's another one. The wheels are intact. You can see the steel belts that were in the tires still there. It's not at all like these fires. So how come I haven't seen a car from 1991 with melted anything? Not one. Because it didn't happen before. Let's look at this car back here. The plastic's melted. The glass is still intact there, in there, and there. The wheels are still there. It is totally normal. Here are 3 cars, all suffering the exact same thing. Here are a bunch of cars, 1991. The wheels are still there. No melted hood. No melted wheels. Here's another one. 1991. The wheels are still there. Nothing's melted. Even that one that got it worse still has the wheels on it. So what is going on? Here's another one. Totally burned out. The wheels are still there. What's up? Here are more cars from 1991. that look like they flipped trying to get around something. And if you look closely, those are aluminum wheels, and they are not melted. In fact, you are not going to show me where any type of metal, aluminum, steel, anything melted in 1991. Now we see shit like this, or we see just the hood of the car being attacked. Under the hood, the engine block, that area. Engine blocks melting, just rolling down, melted metal, like you're in a foundry. Oh, you just don't understand firestorms, man. You don't understand reality. You don't have a grip on reality. Something has changed. So what has changed? Here's a cheap bicycle on fire in 1991 from the fire in California, 1991. Bike isn't melted, and it's just a thin bicycle. But you're telling me that it's totally normal now for aluminum wheels, steel wheels, or engine blocks to just melt. Insanity. And strangely, and thankfully, people that are actually seeing it happen, how it's jumping from one place to the other, are realizing that something doesn't fit. And it's a case of deny what's true till it happens to you, right? And that's what's happening to people, and they're going, wow, something about this isn't right. Let's listen to what this guy has to say here.
But how is this happening? How are we getting a fire in the Pacific Palisades, and then supposedly the wind took it all the way to Altadena, and now the winds are gone, and suddenly it's popped up in the Hollywood Hills? Like, these are very far distances that embers wouldn't be able to fly.
Correct.
Like, this feels deliberate. And not only that, but what's even crazier is downtown had a big fire here yesterday, and it was on the same block that there had been a fire, I want to say a couple of days before. Because I remember making the joke when we were going into the Pop Report studio yesterday, and he's like, oh, the fire's getting close to me. And I'm like, he texted me and said, there's a fire getting close to me. And I was like, that's so funny. I literally have a fire 2 blocks away from me. And at that point, I believe there was already a fire coming down Sunset that I guess was contained, and now it's in the Hollywood Hills. What the fuck is happening? Like, what is going on? Look at the map. Like, what is happening? There's no way this is an accident.
So yeah, now that people are actually seeing this for what it is, up close and personal, now they're putting it together. So, it really is a case of deny what's true till it happens to you. Now they're finding out. But make no mistake, like I said earlier, these people are out there working hard, trying to get people to look away or blame it on something really stupid, homeless people lighting a fire, or this one that says, heard in a roundabout way. Right, that is very weird. That some of the intense, super crazy house fires in LA were because the super rich Hollywood houses with their fancy electric cars had lithium batteries which explode into extreme heat fire. The firefighters couldn't get near it. Lot said for normal gas. Bullshit. This is not a real person. This is a propaganda agent. And they're always catching things in the smoke, because smoke is a perfect prop. They use it for, magic tricks to do shit. So check this out. This was caught on like Fox News or something, and you see that thing right there. And it changes trajectory. Check this out. Down and then over, level with the trees. Down and then level with the trees. That's not a plane, and this was caught on like Fox News. It reminds me a lot of these black balls that people keep catching, going like super, super fast. But this one is lit up for some reason. Or maybe you can just see it because there's fire and smoke. For example, I was in Colorado and I was testing out my brake lights with my camera. I was like filming my brake lights and then checking the camera to make sure that they were working. And while I was testing that, this black ball flies by like at supersonic speeds right here. Boom. Just flew by. Slow it down, you can see it here. Boom, boom, boom. Gone. And I catch these all the time. It's very similar to what they caught in the SpaceX explosion. Or this one, where this guy was filming military jets and one goes cruising by really fast. Those are military jets there. And then, boom, this thing flies by. And it's always in a dead straight trajectory. So here is where SpaceX had the explosion, and one flies right by. There it went. Check this out. Perfectly straight trajectory. That's what people are catching on camera all the time. And it kind of reminds me of that, what they caught in the fire. Here it is again. Now, a lot of tards out there, or, doubtcasters, will try to say that that's a bird, like a supersonic bird, right? But it's not. This is a bird in an airplane. And the bird flies by off in the distance, and you can clearly see that it's a bird. And here, I put a line here to create a horizon, and this has kept the same trajectory, straight across. For example, here's the bird that flew in front of the plane. Starts out up here. I made 2 screen captures, and it ends up here. It's madness when these people try to blame shit on other shit, but this fire is so full of anomalies that people are finally paying attention to this. And, with these cars melting and all this shit, all you have to do is go back to the past and look. And you will not see this shit in the past. You won't see it. It didn't happen. I found every photo of a vehicle that I could from 1991, and there are no melted cars. There's no melted anything. So we have all these anomalies happening in this fire, and then, when you look at the fire from the sky, these videos that people have taken from airplanes, it actually appears that it's in lines, just like the Maui fires and the other California fires that conveniently took out certain sections and then stopped dead. Like right before a vineyard or whatever. Just madness. And what are the black balls? What are we seeing in the sky? These other things that we're seeing in the sky. It's not UFOs, it's not aliens. It is most likely surveillance drones and weaponized surveillance drones at that. We had drones long before people even knew we had drones for a long, long time. And they've certainly got a lot faster and a lot more capable of either being weaponized or doing very good surveillance. And if you think they're not using that kind of shit, you are high off your ass.
That's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
Oh man, I like this kid. This fucking guy's crazy.
Look out for Charlie.
Charlie, what that son of a bitch did. I want him dead.